Yolanda M. Smith's recognition extends broadly, right? She is a best-selling author and top 10 finalist for the 2020 Author Elite Awards for Reputation to Reward, mastering your brand signature to earn more, learn more, and win more. She also is an award-winning finalist as a collaborative author on Mentoring Moments. 14 remarkable women share breakthroughs to success leadership and has held various leadership positions throughout the pharmaceutical industry, earning her numerous awards and recognitions for her innovative work. Her educational pursuits earned her a Bachelor's of Science degree from Indiana University, Kelley School of Business in Marketing and Business Analysis, and she obtained her MBA with a healthcare concentration from Indiana Wesleyan University. Yeah, she got it all, right? Yolanda is married with 2 children. She enjoys gardening and is a saltwater aquarium enthusiast, and enjoys supporting youth organizations. Everybody, I give you the branthropist, Yolanda M. Smith. Yolanda, how are you?
I am wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. I'm doing awesome. It's good to have you.
It's good to be here, believe me.
Fantastic. So listen, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead back behind the curtain. I'm going to give you the stage and you have at it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. First, I want to say thank you to Kevin and to Tasha and the Reset 365 event staff. This is a wonderful opportunity that they are giving you, the opportunity for you to level up. And Kevin will tell you, you got to get up, right? So it's day 5. It's day 5. What are you going to do? You have 360 days left in the year to make an impact and do something. You know, some of y'all were pushing 2020 out the door. I saw you was backing that thing up, pushing it on out the door, couldn't wait. Now we got a 1 behind it and it's 2021. What's changed? We're still in a pandemic. There's still racial injustice. Did you see the news already today? They weren't charged with anything. The police officers in Wisconsin somewhere, protest is happening right now as you're sitting on this screen. I appreciate you, audience, because you had a lot of places that you could be. You chose to be here with us.
That's right.
The world has not changed.
Yolanda.
Yes.
Yolanda, can you hear me?
Yes.
I think we cannot see your presentation.
We
only see the webinar. Connect to GoToWebinar.
Huh.
There it is.
All right. I guess I wasn't trying to show it yet, but if it's going to make me, that's fine too.
But no. It's okay. I wasn't sure if you were sharing or not.
Oh, no.
But when you're ready, jump right to it.
That's all right. I was just talking. But the point is, guys, things haven't changed. You know, we just had an election today in Georgia. We're waiting for those results. The president's not willing to concede. So, I mean, what's a girl to do? Because life hasn't changed. What are you going to do? What's going to change? I hope it's you, because at the end of the day, we have an opportunity to look up, to get up, and to level up. You know, the unfortunate part is that we really live in a mediocre society. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But at the end of the day, it all starts with you. It's all about mindset. You know, growing up, one of my favorite, I was fascinated with him, Charlie Chaplin. Many of you may know him. If you know Charlie Chaplin, give me a yes in the chat or something. Give me something here to let me know I'm not the oldest one here in this group. But Charlie Chaplin was a silent movie actor, and he was also a comedian. But what most people didn't know is that he was a consummate optimist. And Charlie Chaplin, you know, had great things to say, and I often quote him. He said, "Nothing in this cruel world lasts, not even your troubles." He said, "I love walking in the rain because you can't see my tears." He said, "The single most lost day is a day without laughter." And he said, "If you can see the moon, you see the beauty of God." If you can see the sun, you see the power of God. But if you can see a mirror, you see God's greatest creation, and that is you. Believe it. Because remember, you will never see the rainbow if you're looking down. My name is Yolanda Smith, and I'm a people growth leader and brand therapist. I have a passion for helping others achieve their highest levels of success by unleashing the power of personal branding so that they can actually receive and achieve visibility, financial freedom, and success. I help others to articulate their value, live authentically, and stand out, to earn more, win more, and lead more. Now, for those of you that are familiar with personal branding, you know I just gave you my $1 Million Minute. If you're not familiar, we'll cover it a little bit later on in this program. Because at the end of the day, if you can't share with somebody in 20 seconds or less who you are and something interesting about you, you're probably missing a lot of opportunities. You know, you have 360 days left. What are you going to do? And I ask that question because where you are today is a result of who you were. However, where you go depends on who you choose to be. That's right, you have a choice. You know, with a society of mediocrity like I talked about, it's no wonder that oftentimes we find ourselves stalled and at a standstill. Brandon just gave a great example of what happens when adversity turns into, triumph. I have a story of my own. And before I get into talking about some of the other things I hope to share with you today, I'm going to share a little bit about my story. You see, it's not that I haven't had success. I will tell you right now that today I am living into my best life. I hope you caught that. I'm living into my best life. You know, I've had the usual suspects of the highs and the lows and things that happen, but then came a string of tragedies for me. And these are things that shake your world. I was shaken to the core. I was broken. I just didn't know really if there was going to be a way out. A lot of this I hid from the public, but the reality was it was the pain that I was going through. You see, it was a hot summer day in August, August 8th, 2016 to be exact. I was on my way to see my favorite uncle. My favorite uncle was very sick, and we knew he didn't have a lot of time left. And so I made a decision that day I would go see him. I wasn't going to put it off. And I was traveling down the road. We were slowing, the traffic was slowing because we were coming to a stoplight. I happened to look into my mirror, and before I knew it, a car was barreling down on me. And before I could get the words, "Oh my God," out of my mouth, I was hit by a texting teenager at 45 miles an hour. I hit the car in front of me. The car behind her hit her, and bam, she hits me again. So needless to say, I never got to see my uncle that day. My uncle died 3 days later. They buried him on my birthday. A couple months after that, my mom started to get sick, and in the midst of trying to figure out what was causing her this severe pain, my dad was diagnosed with cancer. 4 months later, my dad was dead. 5 months later, my mom was diagnosed with cancer. In the midst of all this is your everyday life going on. And then my company that I worked for decided they would undergo a major restructure. My boss, my coaches, my sponsors, and my mentors all walked out the door, leaving me alone. I felt very lonely. And then came the boss from hell. This woman came in and she just took over. She didn't like me. She didn't understand me. She didn't get to know me. But all I can tell you is it was World War me. She did everything she could to destroy me, to discredit me, to attack my credibility, to attack my brand. And I sat back knowing I hadn't done anything wrong and there's no way she could get at me like that. And before I know it, I was demoted. My team was destroyed. We were reallocated and we all did not have a single job. This was devastating. Talk about being broken. I didn't know what to do. I kept fighting the good fight. And in the end, I took my lump. And I gave myself permission to grieve about it. But then I made a decision that I had to get up and choose the life that I wanted to have for myself. And that I no longer wanted to live that life. And the day I made that decision and the day I decided that I could accept the things that were out of my control was the day that I started to once again live and put my life on the track to go where the direction in which I wanted it to go. Because surely not me. I wasn't going to allow anybody else to just tell me what my destiny should be. But what I had to do is I had to look up. I prayed. But then I had to get up and be intentional with my actions so that I could truly make a difference and make things happen for myself. And then I had to level up. I had to invest in myself, put the personal development into play that was necessary for me to get to my level 10 life that I desire. So I say to you today, I believe in what is called the 5-minute rule. Now, granted, that 5-minute rule says that you got 5 minutes to be negative and moan and groan about the things that you cannot control. And that's sort of theoretical, because yes, it took me more than 5 minutes to get over that. Come on, give me a break, guys. That was a lot. But you know, you can't make this stuff up. That was a lot. But at the end of the day, you have to let it go. You have to allow yourself to know that it's okay for you not to worry and be resistant to the things that you cannot change. Because the logical and the more rational thing for you to do in situations like this is to move on and not give it energy. Because when you do, you can't progress. So I say this to you to say, what's your car crash? What are the circumstances in your life that you are allowing to manifest and to continue to be there, to cause you emotional distress? The things that are past, they've already happened. What are those things that you're angry about? Because I get it. You know, you go through these situations and you say to yourself, it shouldn't have happened to me. I'm a good person. I didn't deserve this. And by all means, you know that was not my plan. So why is this happening to me? But I'm here to tell you that when you accept all things that are out of your control, that you cannot change, you're able then to have and achieve emotional freedom. So when bad things happen, I just want you to understand it's not that causes us the pain, it's the resistance to it that is the issue, because we like to hold on, right? We want to wish it was different. We want it to be different. I had that same situation. And it's not about placing blame, right? It's not about putting your energy into that. It's about finding the peace within yourself so that you can move on. And you just have to visualize it and pray about it and then just be able to let it go. You know, and the reality is that I share my story with you so that it can serve as evidence that you too, no matter what you go through, can put things behind you and overcome the circumstances and the situations you find yourself in. Because we've all been there. As a coach, I understand this. I get clients all the day, and a lot of times when they come to me, they're already in crisis. But the key there is that if I can go from being hit by at 45 miles an hour by a texting teenager, lose my uncle, lose my dad, my mom diagnosed with cancer, and I just lost her in August, and you know, the boss from hell, everybody leaving me alone, and still being able to get up and have this conversation with you today, I want you to know you too can do that. And that is evidence that it can be done. And at the end of the day, just know that all you have to do is look up, get up, and level up. So when we think about this and we want to embrace the notion about how do we get started, what do we do, where do we go from here? Again, I say it's not about blaming. You can blame the person that is responsible. So for example, I would argue with you, the teenager that hit me, the boss that mistreated me, those are the people that are responsible for the things that happen. But it's my responsibility to improve my life. It's my responsibility to make a change. So I ask you, you have 360 days left. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Are you going to be obsessed with greatness, or will you just be average? Are you going to look up, get up, and level up, or are you just going to allow life to happen to you? Because I work with a lot of clients that swear up and down that they want blue skies, success, and the world at their fingertips. They want these thriving businesses. They want to have great influence, build wonderful networks. But oftentimes, they're operating within a mediocre mindset because they're not willing to put the work in. And for me, I only work with P's. I call them my P's. Those are people who are passionate. They are energetic. They're authentic, and they're serious. These are the people that take responsibility and accountability for the things that happen in their life. It's about leaving the past in the past and moving forward. These are the people that truly want greatness. They don't want just to see great. They don't want to be average. These are the people that want to build a brand that puts them in a place where they can get recognized for the expertise that they have. That personal brand is, of course, what your reputation is. It's your image. It's how people perceive you. It's the relationship they have with you. It's the means by which they remember you. But put simply, it's really about what they say when they leave the room, when you leave the room. So when they're gossiping about you, is it positive or is it negative? Because you have control over that. You have the ability to tell your story. You have the ability to invest in yourself and create the narrative for yourself that you want others to do. So let's do a quick reality check. We talk about this thing around mediocrity, and I bring this up because I'm really concerned that so many people have a growth, unquote, mindset, but mediocre habits. And when Brandon talked about bringing things into alignment, this is one of those things that sort of resonated with me. And I'll share this with you because one of the things that I find interesting is that when you think about what your value is to other people, and your personal brand is your ability to articulate that value, live authentically, and stand out, that is when the magic happens. This is why this is important, because connections, relationships are everything. So we can't just go along being ho-hum. It's truly important that we make those connections, because do you realize that when people feel like they know you, feel like they connect with you, feel like you fit and belong, those are the people that will promote you, hire you, nominate you, do business with you, marry you, and loan you money. It doesn't get better than that. But in today's society, we are not there. And so I'm challenging you today to say, how do we get there? Because here's the reality check. The Social Security Administration says that for every 100 people, from start of the career to the retirement, if you take any 100 people in the country, from start of career to retirement, only one will be wealthy. 4 will be financially stable. 5 will continue to work, and it's not because they want to, it's because they have to. 36 will be dead, and 54 will be broke, relying on their friends, family, and the government to take care of them. You guys, these are real stats. I'm not making it up. So the question I have for you is, what do we do to ensure that we're not one of the 54 down here that has to rely on others? What does that mean? So first, real quickly, I want to examine the causes of mediocrity. Put simply, the rearview mirror syndrome. Again, making your past circumstances dictate what you're capable of doing. What happened in the past means that you get these limiting beliefs that you can't do it in the future. There's a lack of purpose. What is your purpose? Why are you here? What do you want to do? The purpose is something that's bigger than you. What is your purpose? The isolating incidents, those things that you think, oh, if it's one thing that happens, it doesn't impact my life, or every incident is sort of treated as a solo incident with no residual impact to my life. Lack of accountability. We talk about accountability as if it's a negative thing. It's really not. It's just the ability to hold yourself responsible for the actions that you should or should not take. Then having a mediocre circle of influence. Brandon hit it. If you are not hanging around people that are smarter than you, if you are not hanging around people that have some money, if you're not hanging around people that have a network or some influence, you're hanging around the wrong people, because you know that the law of averages says that the closest people in your circle, the amount of money that they have is indicative of the amount of money you're going to have. So guess what, y'all? If they broke, you gonna be broke. So how do we figure it out? You got to level up. We've got to start making those connections. And then there needs to be that lack of urgency, because at the end of the day, the difference between excellence and mediocrity is simply commitment. So I say to you today, you can put together a powerful personal brand. The elements of a personal brand are simpler. You got to be authentic. Who are you? Do you know yourself? Are you showing up as yourself? Because at the end of the day, nobody wants to do business with, nobody wants to hire, nobody wants to date, marry, or hang out with a fraud. What's the value that you bring to the table? Where are your superpowers? What does that look like? Have you cultivated your story? What's your $1 Million Minute? Can you tell me in 2 sentences what you do better than most people, how you do it uniquely, and what is who the audience is that you serve? And can you make it so that it's interesting, it's relevant, and it's memorable? And then master that brand by activating it and putting together a positive digital footprint. Your offline presence and your online presence need to come into alignment, so that when people see you, when you project who you want to be to the world, it's the same offline and online. Because if you create confusion with your audience, if you create confusion within your sphere of influence, if you create confusion in your network, I can tell you emphatically, confused people don't buy, period. So you have the opportunity to really look up, get up, and stand up to create the person that you desire, to create the lifestyle that you desire, to create a level 10 life in all aspects: spiritual, physical, mental, professional, personal, relational, all of that. You have that power within your hands. And so I say to you today, you know, you miss all the shots that you don't take. You've heard that. You miss all the shots that you don't take. Start today by getting in action and taking the action necessary to give you the life that you choose to live. And tell your story, because it's absolutely huge. People want to connect with you. And if people connect with you and they like you, you're in. It's just no other way to say it. You are in. So what is the life of your dreams? What do you hope to do? Develop the skills, develop the beliefs, develop the mindset, and acquire the knowledge, the physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional vitality that it will take for you to have success and experience the life you choose to live. So I ask you, you have 360 days left. What are you going to do? Thank you.
Wow, Yolanda, thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you. Listen, at that again, another compelling and amazing story of perseverance, right? And perspective. I have to tell you, if you're just now joining us, you missed a dynamic speaker the first time. Hopefully you caught Yolanda M. Smith's presentation and her dynamic story, as well as the nuggets that she was dropping. But most importantly, we appreciate you tuning into the Reset 365 virtual seminar powered by Vanguardian Global. Yolanda, I have a couple of questions for you. I mean, I'm just gonna, because you touched on a lot of different things. You talked about intentional, right? Being intentional and things of that nature. How do you start to be intentional? Is there a process to that?
Well, the first part is that you have to make the commitment. It's about commitment. It's about wanting something bad enough that you're willing to do whatever it takes to get it.
That's right.
So it's making that commitment, whether it's get up early, whether it's meditate, whether it's exercise, whether it's, send out 20 cold call leads, whether, whatever it is. It starts with that commitment.
Gotcha. And you know what? You talked about that $1 million minute, that pitch. That's something else. I'm sure you got a formula to that too, right? And,
got that right.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Yeah. Now, are you giving something away also? I'm sure you are.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I'm actually offering my free digital blueprint to increase brand visibility. Yeah, you can connect with me on my website at yolanda-smith.com, and you can get a copy of that free digital blueprint so that you can be visible, stand out, and get the recognition you need. Yeah, the signature is definitely my brand signature formula. The brand signature formula.
Right on. Well, here's the last question that I have for you, and I ask it to all of the speakers that come on. What is it that you really get out of doing events like this, seminars and events like this?
Oh, wow. Just the privilege to serve. The privilege to serve, my friend. It is just, my passion is truly helping other people to achieve their highest potential. And just having the opportunity to have an event like this where you can reach so many people. I mean, it's just so powerful. I mean, I think we all need mentors and coaches in our lives